Stop for a moment and really think about this. Someone you care about has already forgotten you today. Not because they are cruel, not because you don't matter, but because they are completely consumed by their own life. You've been waiting for a message, waiting for someone to ask if you're okay, waiting for a small sign that you crossed their mind. But it didn't come. And deep down, before the disappointment even hit, you already knew it wouldn't. That quiet ache in their chest comes from realizing something most people try their entire lives to avoid. You are far more alone than you thought. This sounds terrifying at first, almost unbearable, but hidden inside this truth is a kind of freedom so powerful it can completely change the direction of your life. There is a reason everything feels heavier late at night. When the world goes quiet and distractions stop working, your mind turns inward. At 2 a.m., you replay old conversations, cringe at mistakes no one else remembers, and question whether your future will ever look the way you hope it will. You overthink your words, your choices, your path. But while you're doing all of this, no one else is doing the same for you. No one is lying awake replaying your failures. No one is worrying about your future the way you are. They are busy doing that for themselves. Every single person is the main character in their own story, fighting their own silent battles, carrying their own fears, and trying to survive their own chaos. Here's the truth nobody likes to say out loud. Nobody is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not your partner, not some future version of life where everything magically falls into place. Everyone is overwhelmed. Everyone is tired. Everyone is focused on keeping their own life from falling apart. You are background noise in most people's lives, just as they are in yours. That realization hurts because it shatters the fantasy that someone is watching closely, ready to step in and make things better. But reality, even when it's painful, is far more powerful than comforting lies. Most of your fear has always come from one illusion, the belief that people are watching you. Watching what you say, how you act, how you fail. You imagine an invisible audience judging your every move, keeping a mental record of your mistakes. But think honestly for a moment. When was the last time you remembered someone else's awkward moment for more than a few minutes? When was the last time you replayed someone else's failure over and over in your head? You don't, because you're too busy worrying about yourself. And so is everyone else. The audience you think is watching you doesn't exist. They were never in the theater to begin with. When people first hear nobody cares, they often break. They feel invisible, small, and worthless. If you stop at that point, this truth can destroy you. But if you go deeper, if you let it fully sink in, you begin to see the other side of it. If nobody is watching, nobody can control you. If nobody is paying attention, you are free to fail privately. If nobody expects anything from you, you cannot disappoint them. You become invisible, but not in a tragic way, in a liberating way, a way that finally gives you room to breathe. For most of your life, you've been carrying invisible chains, chains made from worrying about what people think, chains made from waiting for approval, validation, and permission. You've delayed your dreams, softened your voice, and shrunk your desires, hoping someone would eventually notice and say, "Now you're allowed." But permission was never coming, because no one was ever that invested in your life to give it. And now that you know this, the question becomes painfully simple. Why are you still asking? One day, often quietly, something shifts. You wake up in the same bed, in the same room, with the same problems, but the weight is gone. The pressure to impress people who forgot you exist disappears. The pressure to perform for an audience that never showed up fades away. The pressure to live up to expectations no one was truly enforcing finally lifts. For the first time, your life feels like it belongs to you, not to your parents, not to society, not to the version of you that was easy to control, to you. There is something you've wanted to do for a long time. You know exactly what it is. You haven't done it because you're afraid someone might laugh, judge you, or misunderstand you. But the truth is, they are far too busy dealing with their own mess to notice. They won't stop you, and they won't save you either. They'll forget by tomorrow. So the only real thing standing in your way has always been you. When nobody expects anything from you, you gain a rare and dangerous advantage. You can start over without explaining yourself. You can change direction without apologizing. You can fail without being publicly defined by it. Your mistakes don't become permanent labels, and your past doesn't get to trap you forever. You are allowed to evolve quietly, and quiet evolution is where real transformation happens.
You've been taught that caring about yourself is selfish, that prioritizing your own life makes you cold or uncaring. But if you don't care about your own life, and nobody else does either, who exactly is responsible for it? A life without ownership crashes fast. Caring about yourself isn't arrogance, it's survival. It's grabbing the steering wheel instead of letting your life drift into places you never chose. Once you fully accept that nobody cares, something unexpected happens. You become dangerous in the best possible way. Dangerous to fear, dangerous to mediocrity, dangerous to that voice in your head that keeps asking, but what will they think? You start making decisions faster. You take bigger risks. You stop over-explaining yourself, not because you're reckless, but because you're finally free. Look around you. Everyone is performing. Everyone is juggling responsibilities, expectations, and insecurities. Everyone is terrified of dropping the ball in front of people who aren't even watching. It's like a circus with no audience. So stop juggling. Put the balls down. Walk off the stage. The circus doesn't need you, and you don't need it either. This path isn't free of loss. When you stop performing, some people leave. When you stop being predictable, some people get uncomfortable. Let them go. They didn't love you. They loved the version of you that was easy to manage, and that version was slowly draining the life out of you. Seeing clearly always feels lonely at first. Illusions are crowded, but truth is quiet. That loneliness isn't emptiness, it's space. Space to rebuild, to choose, to finally hear your own voice without all the noise. For years, you've been living a borrowed life, the good child, the reliable friend, the people pleaser, the safe version, and all it gave you was exhaustion, resentment, and a life that doesn't feel like it belongs to you, because it doesn't. The real you has been waiting all this time, the version with opinions, ambition, and a voice that doesn't blend in. That version is still there, patient and alive, waiting for you to stop hiding. And now the door is open. Here's the irony of it all. When you stop caring whether people care, real people sometimes show up. Not many, maybe 2 or 3, but they see the real you and stay anyway. And even if no one shows up at all, it's still worth it, because a life lived for yourself will always be better than a life lived for ghosts. This moment is the split point. Before this, you waited. After this, you choose. You can close this and go back to performing, hoping someone finally notices you, or you can stand up and live, messy, imperfect, real. Nobody cares the way you care. Nobody will live your life for you. And that isn't the end of your story. That's the beginning. That's the moment you finally take control, stop asking for permission, and start living a life that is actually yours.